The Thule B-52 nuclear crash. On January 21, 1968, a U.S. Air Force B-52 bomber carrying 4 hydrogen bombs crashed near Thule Air Base in Greenland. The aircraft developed a fire in the cabin, forcing the crew to abandon it mid-flight. 6 of the 7 crew members survived. However, when the plane hit the ice, it exploded, releasing radioactive material across the frozen landscape. 3 of the 4 hydrogen bombs were recovered in damaged condition, but the 4th was never found. Over 700 U.S. personnel were involved in the cleanup, exposed to extreme cold and radiation. The incident sparked international outrage and led to Denmark banning nuclear weapons on its territory. Though the U.S. claimed all weapons were accounted for, declassified reports later admitted 1 bomb was likely lost at sea. Black Hawk Down, Mogadishu, Somalia, on October 3, 1993. 2 U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopters were shot down during a mission in Mogadishu, Somalia. The objective? Capture warlord Mohammed Farah Aidid's top lieutenants. After the crash, the mission devolved into a 15-hour urban battle. 18 U.S. soldiers were killed, over 70 wounded, and 1 pilot captured. The bodies of several soldiers were dragged through the streets, images that horrified the world. Somali casualties were estimated at over 1,000. The battle, later chronicled in Black Hawk Down, changed U.S. military policy, leading to a withdrawal from Somalia. It remains one of the costliest missions for U.S. special operations since Vietnam. Lviv Airshow disaster, Ukraine. On July 27, 2002, during an airshow at Sknyliv airfield in Lviv, Ukraine, a Sukhoi Su-27 fighter jet lost control during an aerobatic maneuver. The aircraft collided with another jet, rolled, and plummeted into the crowd of spectators. 77 people were killed, including 28 children. More than 540 others were injured, making it the deadliest airshow disaster in history. An investigation revealed multiple pilot errors, poor planning, and negligence by Air Force officials. Both pilots survived the crash after ejecting and were later sentenced to prison. The event raised global questions about airshow safety and crowd control standards. 4th Flight 19 Disappearance, Bermuda Triangle. On December 5, 1945, 5 U.S. Navy TBM Avenger torpedo bombers vanished during a routine training mission over the Atlantic Ocean. Known as Flight 19, the squadron's last radio transmissions revealed that the pilots were disoriented, reporting malfunctioning compasses and an inability to determine direction. Rescue efforts were launched immediately. A PBM Mariner sent to search for them also disappeared with 13 crew members aboard. In total, 27 men were lost. Despite extensive searches, no wreckage or remains were ever found. The mysterious circumstances surrounding the incident fueled the legend of the Bermuda Triangle and remain unsolved to this day. RAF Tornado, downed by friendly fire. Iraq. During the early days of the Iraq War, on March 22, 2003, a British Royal Air Force Tornado GR-4 was returning from a mission when it was mistakenly identified as an enemy missile by a U.S. Patriot air defense system. A missile struck the aircraft midair, killing both crew members, Flight Lieutenant Kevin Main and Flight Lieutenant David Williams. Investigations revealed a malfunction in the Identification Friend or Foe (IFF) system on the Tornado. The incident highlighted serious interoperability issues between Allied forces. It was one of the most tragic cases of friendly fire in modern coalition warfare. A 12 Oxcart crash, Groom Lake, Nevada. On January 5, 1967, an A-12 reconnaissance aircraft, a predecessor to the SR-71 Blackbird, crashed near Groom Lake, Nevada. While returning from a high-speed test flight, the plane suffered catastrophic engine failure after colliding with a bird at 30,000 feet. Pilot Walter Ray ejected but was killed when his parachute failed to deploy. Because the A-12 was a classified CIA project, the crash was publicly explained as a conventional aircraft accident. The A-12 program remained secret for decades. Only in the 2000s did declassified documents confirm the true nature of the aircraft and the mission that led to Ray's death. Kamikaze training crash, Japan. In mid-1945, during the final stages of World War II, Japan intensified its kamikaze suicide operations. At a training airfield in Kyushu, a transport plane loaded with over 40 kamikaze trainees attempted to take off but was overloaded. It failed to gain altitude and crashed at the end of the runway, exploding on impact. All aboard perished. The incident was suppressed by the Japanese military, fearing damage to morale. None of the recruits ever made it to combat. To this day, this little-known tragedy stands as a grim reminder of the desperation and human cost of kamikaze tactics. E-3 Sentry AWACS crash, Alaska. On September 22, 1995, a U.S. Air Force E-3 Sentry airborne warning and control system, AWACS aircraft crashed shortly after takeoff from Elmendorf Air Force Base in Alaska. The jet struck a flock of Canadian geese, disabling both left side engines. The crew attempted to return, but the plane lost control and crashed, killing all 24 people on board. Investigations concluded that inadequate wildlife management around the airfield contributed to the accident. The incident led to significant changes in bird strike prevention and airbase safety protocols across the U.S. military.